Most of the time when you think of somebody with ADHD, this is what you think of.
1 out of 10 meet the diagnosis for ADHD.
That anxiety can lead to depression.
It's very uncomfortable. People are very uncomfortable.
I was just watching this very disturbing commercial yesterday with children, and it was talking about ADHD, and it showed a kid that was not paying attention in class. And then they introduce this medication. And then you have the child raising their hand, and then you have everyone clapping, and you have the child with a big smile on their face, and you've medicated your child to be a successful and integrated person in society.
Shall I spot off about ADHD for a minute?
Yes, please.
That was my first book. That was after I was diagnosed with it myself, in my 50s.
What does it mean? What is it exactly?
It's the most heritable mental illness there is. And I say it's neither an illness, nor is it heritable. So the hallmark are difficulty paying attention when you're not motivated.
Yeah.
So kind of tuning out, like that kid in the commercial. Poor impulse control, so that you tend to act out whatever emotion arises. And sometimes the hyperactivity, difficulty sitting still and then to fidget and all that. And that described me to a T. But as soon as I learned about the diagnosis, I knew something. This is not a disease, and it's not heritable. What is it? So tuning out is not a disease. If I were to stress you right now, create stress, emotional difficulty or tension for you right now, what would be your options of dealing with that, of dealing with me? What would be your options?
I could either get upset or I could leave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could fight back, flight or fight, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But what if you didn't have those options?
Then you're stuck.
And now what does the brain do when you're stuck like that?
It gets distracted.
It gets tunes out.
Yeah, it tunes out. You want to do other things, think about other things.
In other words, it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Well, the other part of it is that if you look at my infancy, and it sounds like yours, we spent our first year or two under very difficult circumstances, a lot of stress. Infants can't help but absorb the stress of their parents.
Right.
They can't help it. What does an infant do? Could I have escaped or fought back? Could you have? All we could do is tune out.
Yeah.
So when is this tuning out happening? When our brain is being developed.
Right.
And our brain, this is the part that nobody taught me in medical school, but it turns out that brain science now teaches us that the human brain develops under the impact of the environment. So the most salient feature of the environment that shapes the circuits of the human brain is actually the relationship with the parents. And if the parents are present and emotionally attuned and available, child brains develop properly. But the parents are stressed, the child absorbs the stress. What can they do with it? They tune out. And that tuning out thing is programmed into the brain. And then 10 years later or 50 years later, we say, you got this disease. No, you don't. You've got a coping mechanism that's no longer working for you. But it had a function when it first came along. And by the way, if a family comes to me with their ADHD child, I'll say to them, what you've got here is a very sensitive child. That sensitive child is picking up on all the vibes, energies, and stresses in your family. When I help this child, deal with the whole family. Look at the parental relationship. Look at what stress is there in your life. Look at how you react to the child. Do you understand the child's behavior or the emotions that the child is having, or are you just trying to control the child's behaviors? Look at all that. And very often parents will tell me after they've read that book on ADHD is they've totally changed their relationship to their child. The child changes. What a surprise. But you go to most doctors, you got this disease, here's the pill. And by the way, I took those medications and they helped me for a while. So one of the hallmarks of ADHD is poor impulse control, right? I found out about ADHD, and even before I was diagnosed, I took Ritalin. So I felt immediately present and calm and grounded and focused. Yeah, well, it calms the ADHD brain. Then I go home and my wife says, you look stoned.
Because you're calm.
So, yeah. Well, because I got this glassy-eyed expression. And within a couple of days, the Ritalin made me very depressed. That's one of its potential side effects. So I did see a psychiatrist. I was formally diagnosed, and they gave me Dexedrine. And I took that for a while, and it did help me. I became a much more efficient workaholic, and I could do even work. It didn't change any of my emotional issues, but it made me more focused and so on. It helped me write my first book. But I haven't taken them for decades. But the brain can change if you treat it right. the reliance on medications that we have is a real poverty of the spirit, a real poverty of imagination, a poverty of medical education. The average doctor never learns this stuff. The average physician never gets a single lecture on brain development, let alone do they hear about trauma. So when they see an adult with ADHD or depression or addiction, or for that matter, autoimmune illness or anything else, they don't think of trauma. They just think of this disease. And they think that the diagnosis explains everything, but the diagnosis don't explain anything. Because think about it. Let's say Gabor or Joe goes to a doctor and they diagnose with ADHD. Well, why does Gabor have poor impulse control, hyperactivity, and tuning out? Because he's got ADHD. How do we know he's got ADHD? Because he's got poor impulse control and tunes out, and he's hyperactive. Why is he hyperactive, tunes out, have poor impulse control? He's got ADHD. How do we know he's got ADHD? Because, it's circular. It doesn't explain. It doesn't explain anything. Diagnoses describe things, and that they can be helpful that way, but they don't explain.
One of the things that people get treated for and they get diagnosed with is anxiety.
Yeah.
And that one drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts because people pretend that anxiety is a disease.
Yeah, it's not.
And I'm like, my God, the world should make you anxious if you're a sensitive, introspective person. If you're just looking at the world itself and you don't put it in perspective, like the world's filled with anxiety. The anxiety it's future problem solving. You're thinking about all the things that can go wrong. You're thinking about your life in a potentially devastating way. And that's not a disease. That's just a way you look at the world. And people are getting diagnosed with it.
Well, I won't quite agree with you on that one.
In what way?
The world every day is the same.
You're giving yourself anxiety by looking at the world, right?
By how I look at the world.
Yes.
Because I can look at the same world one day and feel grounded and connected and have all kinds of concerns about what's happening in the world. But my nervous system won't be on edge. My adrenaline won't be flowing. I won't be anxious. That's
my point, is that it's not a disease.
So remember I talked about those brain circuits of lust and care and rage and seeking and so on. One of the brain circuits that we have is described by a very prominent late neuroscientist, Jaak Panksepp, is for panic and grief. Panic and grief are the normal responses of the young human being or the young animal when care isn't available. So when the parents are stressed, distracted, economically or politically, or because of their own unresolved trauma, or whatever's going on in their lives, and they don't respond to the child's distress, they don't pick up the child when they're crying. They make the child be alone when the child is upset. The child's panic circuits get activated, as they should be, because when the child's panic circuits get activated, they cry for help.
Yeah.
So it's necessary for survival. A young animal should feel panic when the adult is unavailable. In a rational world, in a sane world, that child will be responded to. But when children, as in our society, are not responded to in their distress, the panic becomes built into their nervous system, and now you have a lot of anxious people. And that's why more and more kids are being diagnosed. You're right, it's not a disease, it's a response to the environment.
And the thought process of like leaving a child alone when the child's crying, is that to toughen the kid up? Is the thought process that you don't want to encourage this sort of behavior because then they'll do it all the time, and then you'll develop an indulgent child? Like, what is the thought process?
The thought process is that the child's behavior is the problem. And so we have to fix the behavior by controlling it. Now, actually, the opposite is true. Because if you pick up the child when the child has distress, physical and emotional distress, you're teaching the child that the world is safe, they don't have to be anxious about it, and they can just ask for help. And it doesn't entrench kind of crying, manipulative behavior. How it works, Dr. Daniel Siegel, who's a psychiatrist at UCLA and a very prolific author and mind researcher, he says in his book, The Developing Mind, that the child uses the mature circuits of the adult brain to regulate its own immature, unregulated circuits. So when the adults show up in a calm, loving way, that the child downloads that into his own nervous system, he's not going to be an infant forever. At some point, he's going to be a mature adult who knows how to take care of themselves. That's a natural process. We don't have to teach kids to be independent. Independent is nature's agenda because the parents are going to die. At some point, the mother bear is going to disappear. That bear cub has to be able to look after themselves in a mature, confident way. That's nature's natural agenda. What the mother bear needs to do is to meet the needs of that infant bear so the infant bear can mature. So if we meet the child's needs, they're going to mature out of that helpless state with a sense of self-regulation and calm confidence in their own capacity. But when you don't pick kids up, what you teach them is that the world is not available, that they're alone, and that they're helpless. Talk about a formula for anxiety.
Hey, Marcy. What's up, Harry? How's everyone doing this morning? Hold on, I gotta let my little chihuahua in. Come on, Raider. You wanna come in? He keeps he keeps coming in and going out. Hold on. Look out. Okay. Hold on. Problem is when I let one in, all the other dogs want to come in, and I wish I could let them all in, but they destroy my house. Isn't that right, Raider? I'm sorry. Oh. Okay, you're okay. You're inside now. What's wrong, buddy? You wanna come up here? Okay. Okay. He has to sit on my lap. Okay, Mr. Raider. Okay, Mr. Raider. Oh, you guys crack me up. It is. It's cold, Marcy. Hey, how you doing, Harry? How's the work, brother? No, that's my chihuahua. Watch. Hold on, I'll show you the camera. Hold on. It's okay, buddy. He does kind of sound like a little rooster, little chicken. Mr. Raider. He was playing outside. Now he's got to come in and... Okay. Okay. You're okay. What's wrong? You want to go back outside? Now he wants to go back outside. This dog drives me crazy sometimes. Alright. Yeah, no, he's cute. But now he wants to go back outside. You want to go outside? Hold on. You're like me, you can't make up your mind. Okay, no problem. Go back outside, yeah. Everyone's anxious to see you. Yeah, there you go. At first, they didn't know who he was, because, as expected, my dogs are like any animal, they become territorial. Humans become territorial. I know I am. I don't like people coming on my property. But anyway, now they love Mr. Raider from another family. It's funny, because he's about the same age as them, about 5 months, and he's half the size. But, they're cool. They don't play too rough with them. Sometimes the bigger dogs kind of, forget that he's small, but he acts like he's as big as them, He's got some sharp teeth on him. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Yeah. Oh yeah, animal mints. Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go up to Colorado tomorrow. But yeah, I played that at the beginning when I started this live. I played really great segment. I forget the doctor's name, but it's on a Joe Rogan podcast. If you just YouTube, Joe Rogan, ADHD. He had a gentleman on there that shared a lot of stuff that I resonated with, and ADHD really, it's not a disease or something bad or something, it's just something you're born with, like some people born skinny, some people born, where they gain weight really quick, and usually the skinny guy wants to gain some weight, and it goes vice versa, so, but I don't know. I'm still trying to find this damn rolled out, and it's getting cold. Season's changing. I got on 2 hoodies right now, and I got one door open. I closed all the windows, but it's nippy. It's nippy. Hey, Journals, what's up, brother? I'm just looking at the chat. Nice. It's legal in Michigan. I bet it tastes good. Nice. Yep. How you doing, Benjamin? Yep, sweater weather. Hey, Stock. How you doing, Nora? I like Nora's early morning car washes with the dogs. I love it. I love that. I like seeing people happy. And people are a wide definition, in my opinion. We got all the animals, all the bugs, even the flies are people. Here's a crazy fact for you. You can Google it, do your research. Don't take my word for it. Never take my word for it. Never like, share, and subscribe if you disagree with anything I'm saying. But flies, all the species, right? They're actually quite clean. It's much like a dog. It's the same conception when I researched it that you think a dog's mouth is, a dog will lick anything. Let's be honest. It doesn't matter what color it is. That's why it doesn't matter what color dog and cat food is. Give me a break. Come on, give me a break. How many times, you trying to break your dog away from picking up a piece of wood or, another dog turd. You know what I'm saying? They don't care what color it is. That's only for marketing and to increase dopamine and to get our attention through a marketing scam, so even us as YouTube, social media creators, even me, I look at ways to get more views. So I look into ways to catching your attention. This is what everyone does, increasing dopamine. Problem is that there's so much dopamine I was doing some research this morning and just, you know, trying to listen and not, I'm talking now, but I was listening. I wasn't talking. It's easy to do when you live alone and you only got a few dogs that yap at you. Yeah. Hey, thanks for everyone coming in, man. Everyone check each other out if you care to, and I really appreciate it. And back what I was saying. Yeah. I lost my train of thought now. It's okay though. But oh yeah, yeah. Flies, dog's mouths are clean. You can look it up. A dog's tongue, they have all these antibacterial qualities, right? I'm just trying to use the best words. I'm honestly not that smart. Uh-oh. Oh, the dogs are okay. Sometimes they get playing too rough with little Mr. Raider. Beautiful morning, but it's kind of dreary. It's been raining all night. But make the best out of it, even though I haven't seen the sun in a while. I miss that sun. But yeah, so a dog's mouth is clean and the same, similar definition, description, whatever. God, nature, the life force, whatever you want to call it. I haven't figured it out yet, Now he wants to come back in. You want to come back in? So flies are really clean. And this is not me saying this. This is just my research from entomologists and all kinds of, people that have studied this for years. I did a little bit of training through the Purdue University. It was required to get my pest control certification over at Orkin Pest Control. Excuse me. And yeah, I'm just looking at the comments. Right? All energy matters. I'm reading every comment though. Eat flies out of the air. I've caught a few like mosquitoes, and sometimes those flies are just bugging me, or a mosquito, and I've caught them in midair a couple times. I posted a thumbnail on one of my lives where I caught him. Poor dude. Uh-oh. What are you doing? Hold on. Hey, what are you doing? Don't do that. You gotta go back outside now because you're messing with the furniture. Come on, bro. Why are you doing that? That's grandma's furniture, man. Now I gotta take Raider back out. Come on, Raider. Come on, Raider. You're a good guy, but you got a lot of energy. Right? You're a chihuahua and you're a puppy. Go out there. There you go. Go in the yard. Come on. Come on, buddy. Jeez. Okay, come on. Come on. Look out. Look out. Look out. Look out. Look out. It's like I'm fighting off the zombies here. With a bunch of dogs trying to come in the door. Okay, you're good. There you go. I mean, listen to him. Listen to this. Listen to this. Huh? They haven't even had any coffee. And sugar, they're acting like that. All right. Yeah, I wish I had that energy, right? All right. Deep breath. So yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing to me, herbs. I'm getting more into. I'm trying to heal myself. Sorry for the deep breathing, but I'm actually trying to get deep breaths in this morning. I have asthma, and then I complicated it worse. Um, my mom introduced me. We're talking about ADHD. My mom was my first drug dealer. That's not a joke. It's kind of funny, but you know, the dark jokes tell the truth, in my opinion. But I was able to kick it. I started smoking weed, quit taking Ritalin about 15 or 16. So I just used cannabis, and it was still illegal, considered next in line to heroin, crack, meth, you name it, you know. We're talking hardcore stuff, it being compared to. So finally it's coming out where the truth is coming out in so many regards, and a lot of people are getting called out. Um, I might just start calling out a bunch of these fitness guys and all these bodybuilders that lie about, you know, it's the oldest gimmick in the world, take this protein powder supplement and you're going to look like me. It can depend on so many things. You can't rely on that. If your product is good, which most of the time the Walmart, one of the best pre-workouts on Amazon called Pre-Star Workout is highly underdosed. I mean, except for caffeine. You might as well just be taking caffeine pills. And it's not that expensive, but um yeah. No, I guess that may be right. But yeah, Orkin's good. Orkin's usually good. They got pretty high standards. Um but they are really commercialized, and I did have to break away and corporate. You know, we had these 6 a.m. Meetings, and I had to drive an hour to get there. I lived in Santa Fe. I drive to Albuquerque, and I had to be there on time, obviously. Shaved, black boots, almost like the military. I mean, they really push kind of a military mentality, but I did learn a lot from it, so everything I've been through, I have learned a lot, and I guess it has made me stronger. But one 6 a.m. morning meeting, I found out that all the decisions, well, 80% of them were being made by stockholders who know nothing about pest control. Number one, number two, they know nothing about customer service. I mean, there's no footwork. There's no, the people with the boots getting their boots dirty, are the ones that know and are experiencing. And, you got to do both. You got to bust your ass sometimes, and you got to know how to deal with people. But one great thing, when I started my own company, is that I could buy any chemical. I wasn't restricted, because Orkin has this chemical list where they try and buy cheap stuff and they try and buy stuff that they're not going to get a lawsuit against. So any chemical that's been under scrutinization, that's had some heat on it, which is mostly bullshit, because it's really weird. The government really doesn't do much about some environmental elements of the world, but then on the other hand, it lets other shit fly. It's all about the money. So a lot of pest control stuff, the chemicals, you can't get it anymore. You know, and a lot of it's a good thing because that stuff was so toxic. From my research, it really was so toxic. You would spray once and the shit would be around for 2 years. You know what I mean? Think about that. If it's that strong, then it's that toxic. You know what I mean? It's much like these guys taking steroids and saying, oh, yeah, take my pre workout, take my testosterone booster. Natural testosterone boosters do work. Herbs, I mean, whatever the creator is in this life already gave us herbs to heal. But there's so much synthetic bullshit killing us. You know, it's a war of the elements and war of the worlds, you know, fucking war of everything, right? But yeah, appreciate everyone rolling by. And I don't know. It's a battle every day, man. Hey, Fat Ninja, what's up, brother? Hey, you too, brother. Yeah. I'm just gonna go on a little bit longer and then I'll shut it down in probably about 10 minutes. I'll shut it down, but yeah, you know, I don't know. I get stressed sometimes. And everything is, you know, it's like Tetris, right? It just keeps adding on one another and trying to figure things out, trying to stay alive and just stay healthy and take care of my animals, you know, I mean, pay the bills, pay taxes, you know, even though I got my own business, I thought that, and, you know, my stuff paid off, I thought that, yeah, it'll be a lot easier. It's still tough, you know, unless you're a big millionaire, but I guess, you know, there's a cost to that too, billionaire. But yeah. And you know, there's a lot of pesticides. I mean, there's a certain ingredient that's used in pesticides in the show Breaking Bad. They hijacked, um, I forget what the name of it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the Death Star, you know what I mean? It's like this big Death Star, like in Star Wars, you know, that's just Pink Floyd did a lot of music on it. And but it's tough too, you know, because not only, you know, I mean, a lot of people can relate to this, but I feel bad. But, you know, I mean, I just going through my own journey, but then I look around and that's tough. It's just as tough on my heart, you know, because I have a client right now. He went, you know, he was in the hospital for a brain tumor and now he got out, but I found out it's stage 4 cancer. So sometimes doctors are not correct on some things, but you know, when they tell you stage 4 cancer, It's really not good, wherever it is. And this is in his brain, you know. And here's a great guy that, like, you know, I don't get it. I don't get why bad things happen to good people. Or, you know, this hurricane just came through and people are talking about, oh yeah, no, we pulled through Florida, da da da. But what about the animals? How many animals you think died? Not to be like, just I'm trying to, pull on your heartstrings. This is not an ad to adopt, for you to adopt and donate money to animals and then, take a bunch of it. I had a client, there was flooding, and, it rarely happens in New Mexico. I had a client, they lost like 2 horses, one of their houses. They're wealthy, but they're still good people, but I don't know. I look at animals as just as important to us. I mean, it sucks that, I was raised on eating meat, and, if I could feel okay and not eat meat and still be kind of healthy, then I would, but I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. Yeah. Oh yeah, you used to be a doctor? But yeah, I appreciate everyone coming by. I guess I'll get back to work and everything, but I appreciate everyone coming by, and stay safe out there and take care. Oh, that's cool. All right, everyone, take care.